Hello everyone. Okay, I've had a request to do a little more in detail um, how I did the blue flower that I showed everyone yesterday. So um, I used this roll of fabric that I got from, I just dropped something on the floor. I heard it fall, but I don't see it. That I got from the thrift store. It's kind of just a denim type fabric, and it's a 2.5 inch wide roll of fabric. So I took it and I cut it into cut it off at 12 inches. Then I took and I frayed both sides like that, about 1/4 of an inch on each side. Okay? And if you fray the one end just a little bit, it's easier to grab the threads to help fray it. And that's all I did was, let's see, we'll do it from this side. I just grabbed 2 or 3 threads and I just pulled them off. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows how to fray things. I shouldn't say that because there might be people that don't know how. Anyway, this is what you end up with. So then I take a needle and thread and I use quilting thread. It's a little bit stronger and you can pull on it a little bit harder. So all I do is make a little knot in the end and attach it to one end. Okay, then I'm going to do the running stitch right down the middle of this piece of fabric, right down, right across here. Okay, I'll show you when I get it done. I'm sorry I can't fast forward past this. So you'll just have to watch me stitch it. See, just like that. Right down the middle. Now, I don't know that you have to have the 12 inches. You might be able to make a nice flower with less than 12 inches, but that just happened to be what I thought might make a good rose or flower, and that's where I cut it off at the first time, for the first one that I made. You can try 8 inches, 10 inches. Of course, the less you have in length, the less it's going to be gathered, so that kind of determines how long you want to make it. Okay, so there I have it gathered right down the middle. And I just gather it up. As far as it'll go. Find where my beginning knot was, and I'm just going to knot it in the same place as where my starting knot was. And you want to get that as tight as you can get it, because that will determine how big the hole is in the middle. And I just knotted a couple of times. So you end up with something that looks like this. Okay, now you're going to open it up on both sides, or technically fold it over in half. You're going to have to work with it, get your gathers to come out right, the way you want it to look. And that's the way your flower is going to come out. Now this is kind of thick material, and it didn't quite want to cooperate with me as far as laying down and looking pretty like a flower, like it should. So I just took my hot glue gun and just put a little dab of glue in a spot and pinched it together. And I'm doing this right down by the gather, not out near the edges, just right down there in the center. I was kind of always raised to think whatever works. So that is now my flower. It's laying fairly flat. It's 2 layers, and I only had to stitch it once. So then I will take my drawer of blue beads, and I will find something that I think looks good in there. Now, say for instance, if I used that bead in there. Or I could use a clearer bead in there. I could use something that's a totally different color. I have several of these flat stones like this. I also have bead centers, which I don't have right here with me. I mean flower centers that are flatter that might look good in there. Let me grab that drawer real quick. So I have these, or I have these. This, we have a nice big white flower that would look good in the center. Here we have this silver one that would look real good on it. I could use, I've got these in a bunch of different colors and styles, but they're all basically the same idea. Something like that. Any of those will work for the centers of your flowers. And then when you decide on a center that you want to use, I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to glue it on there with hot glue. Then I'm going to take a doily and we'll just grab this one as an example. Don't know if it's the best that I've got for the situation, but could add a doily to it like that. So that basically is how I made these little blue flowers that I showed you yesterday. And I hope that explains it a little clearer to those that were a little confused, and makes it, a little clearer in your mind for you. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will catch you soon.